Chapter 29. The Haunted Rest Area. Sophia was a commuter who often used rest areas to take a break and stretch her legs. One night, she pulled into a rest area that seemed unusually quiet and deserted. As she got out of her car, she felt a sudden chill in the air. The rest area's lights flickered, and she heard faint whispers carried on the wind. She decided to use the restroom, but as she entered, the door slammed shut behind her. The restroom was filled with an oppressive energy, and objects moved on their own. The mirrors fogged up, and she saw ghostly figures in the reflection. Panicked, Sophia tried to leave, but the door wouldn't budge. Suddenly, she felt a cold hand on her shoulder and heard a voice whisper her name. She turned around to see a ghostly figure of a woman, her face twisted in sorrow. The spirit seemed to be seeking something, but Sophia couldn't understand what. Desperate to escape, Sophia recited a prayer and begged for help. The spirit's grip loosened, and the door finally opened. Sophia ran to her car and drove away, the rest area fading into the distance. She later learned that the rest area had been the site of a tragic accident, and the spirits of the victims still haunted the area. Sophia's encounter with the haunted rest area became a chilling story, a reminder of the restless spirits that roamed the roads. Chapter 30. The Cursed Overlook. James was a truck driver who often took the same route through a remote mountain pass. One night, he decided to take a detour to a scenic overlook that promised breathtaking views. As he arrived at the overlook, he felt a sudden sense of dread. The air grew thick with an oppressive energy, and he saw ghostly figures standing at the edge of the cliff. The figures seemed to be mourning, their faces twisted in sorrow. Suddenly, his truck's engine sputtered and died. James was stranded at the overlook, surrounded by an oppressive silence. The ghostly figures began to move, their whispers filling the air. Desperate for help, James recited a prayer and begged for protection. The ghostly figures seemed to retreat, and his truck's engine roared to life. He drove away, the overlook fading into the distance. James later learned that the overlook had been the site of a tragic accident, and the spirits of the victims still haunted the area. His encounter with the cursed overlook became a chilling story, a reminder of the restless spirits that roamed the roads. Chapter 31. The Phantom Intersection. Laura was a commuter who often took the same route to work every day. One morning, she noticed an old, abandoned intersection that she had never seen before. Curious, she decided to take a detour and explore it. As she drove through the intersection, she felt a sudden chill in the air. Her car's lights flickered, and the radio emitted static. She saw ghostly figures standing at the intersection, their faces twisted in sorrow. Suddenly, her car stalled, and she was surrounded by an oppressive silence. The ghostly figures began to move, their whispers filling the air. Laura felt a cold hand on her shoulder and heard a voice whisper her name. In a state of panic, Laura recited a prayer and begged for protection. The ghostly figures seemed to retreat, and her car's engine roared to life. She sped away, the intersection fading into the distance. Laura later learned that the intersection had been the site of a tragic accident, and the spirits of the victims still haunted the area. Her encounter with the phantom intersection became a chilling story, a reminder of the restless spirits that roamed the roads. Chapter 32. The Haunted Backroad. Nathan was a truck driver who often took the same route through a remote countryside. One night, he decided to take a detour down an old, abandoned backroad. As he drove down the backroad, he felt a sudden chill in the air. The road was filled with an oppressive energy, and he saw ghostly figures in the darkness. The air grew thick with an oppressive silence, and he felt as if he was being watched. Suddenly, his truck's lights flickered, and the radio emitted static. The ghostly figures closed in, their whispers filling the air. Nathan felt a cold hand on his shoulder and heard a voice whisper his name. In a state of panic, Nathan recited a prayer and begged for protection. The ghostly figures seemed to retreat, and his truck's lights returned to normal. He sped down the back road, emerging into the night air. Nathan later learned that the back road had been the site of a tragic accident, and the spirits of the victims still haunted the area. His encounter with the haunted back road became a chilling story, a reminder of the restless spirits that roamed the roads. Chapter 33. The Phantom Gas Station. Anna was a college student on a road trip with her friends. They decided to take a shortcut through a remote area and found themselves running low on gas. They spotted an old, run-down gas station and decided to stop. The gas station attendant, a grizzled old man with a sinister grin, filled their tank and offered them a discount. As they drove away, Anna noticed strange symbols carved into the gas station's walls. That night, they experienced a series of terrifying events. Their car broke down, their phones lost signal, and they saw shadowy figures lurking in the darkness. The air grew thick with an oppressive energy, and they felt as if they were being watched. Desperate for help, they returned to the gas station, only to find it abandoned. The symbols on the walls seemed to glow with an eerie light, and the old man's voice echoed in their minds, warning them of the curse. Anna and her friends realized that they had been marked by the curse and were doomed to experience endless misfortune. They sought the help of a local shaman who performed a ritual to cleanse them of the curse. The process was arduous, but the shaman succeeded in breaking the curse. The gas station was demolished, and the land was cleansed of its dark energy. Anna and her friends returned to their normal lives, forever haunted by their encounter with the phantom gas station.